Have you ever had an idea that was so clear it was like a 3D movie? Have you ever told a friend about the idea and they told you, wow, if you could only make that into a business, you would be rich? Sound familiar? Welcome to Knowledge to Currency. I'm your host, Senator Porter, with my co-host, Roosevelt Williams III, and we're here to help you take action. This is free information. We only ask one thing: build a strong foundation and mindset. We have insight to help you get started. Most of us just need a push.
Build that better. Tradition. Family.
Culture.
Business.
Community.
Welcome everybody to our episode of Knowledge to Currency. We have our special guest, Josh the Trainer. I'm your host, Senator Porter, and you are?
Roosevelt Williams III, President and CEO of Young Black and in Business.
That's a fact. What we're going to do today is have a discussion about health, wellness, and basically physical training. So I'm going to introduce our guest, Josh the Trainer. Let's start. Why did you end up getting into health and wellness?
So growing up, I played sports. I ran and stuff when I was a kid. My mom couldn't really afford a lot of sports. But by the time I got to high school and college, I was an avid athlete. I played basketball, volleyball, track and field, the whole 9 yards. So my favorite part about that, coming in late to sports, was, how can I catch up? And the best way to do that, besides practicing, was to get in the weight room and start training. This is the kind of guy that I am. I'm pretty objective, so I didn't want to just go in and do some squats and think I was going to get there. So I really got deep in talking with coaches and going online. Back then, it was just Google. It wasn't really much YouTube or definitely no Instagram.
Right.
But, so I went and did a lot of looking to try and figure out how to advance myself as an athlete. When I left high school, I started working in a gym. I just thought it would be a cool, easy job. I worked as a basketball activities coordinator. So I was able to talk with more trainers, and then after that, I was like, this ain't too hard. I can kind of do that. I went around, did some other stuff, and then I came back and was like, I can get certified and start doing this. So I did that. Started with group fitness at the Croc Center down here, local spot. So I did that while I was in school, and then it just grew from there. So after that, I did some more group fitness, USD and things like that, and then. When I got into title boxing, I was lead coach over there, and then I started picking up one-on-one clients more regularly, more formally, and then from there I branched off, did my own business.
So did you have a job before this that wasn't physical fitness?
Man, I had a bunch of jobs before this that wasn't physical fitness. Physical fitness, I never got it down to be able to pay my bills until 6 or 7 years ago.
Okay.
So, and it's been 15 years total. So the first 7, 8 years, I worked in, I sold timeshares, man. I drove Uber. I did it all, man.
What's your worst job?
Man, selling timeshares is tough, dude. Nobody wants to show up to their vacation and be like, hey, over here, let me try and get you to go sit in this 2-hour seminar. You're going to try and take some more of your money. No, and everybody knows the game, right? So they're like, nah, I have to be persistent. I don't like bothering people. So it was a tough job for me.
Got a question?
Yeah, I can see that right there. If they put you in that type of atmosphere where you get pumped up and get excited before the vacationers come in, is that sort of what you do in the fitness world? How do you keep your clients motivated and excited?
You know what? Honestly, I'm an intense guy too. That's one of the reasons I love sports. I was an angsty kid, and so it was an outlet for me, especially boxing. Boxing was a great opportunity for me to get out a lot of angst and issues I had. I was dealing with a lot at the time. So a lot of my business was founded upon the intensity aspect of it. But as I've gotten older and kind of resolved some of my angst back in the day, I've gotten away from that as motivation. I think that's helpful, right? It's great to be pumped up, and as an athlete, we all know what it's like to step on the court and that moment before to kind of get in your headspace and get the energy going. All that is beautiful, but what keeps people consistent, because the difference is that when you're playing a sport, it's one game. Right? And then it's back to practice or it's life or whatever else you can check out. But when it comes to fitness and it comes to our health, right? Not just looking good, not just getting 6 packs or a nice butt or whatever. When it comes to our health, this is long game. So getting hyped for the moment doesn't last. It's not what's going to carry us over. So what I find really works well, and where it really sinks in, is the education, understanding, the information. I find that for our people especially, but for everyone, there's a very vast lack of knowledge and understanding of how to fit the pieces together in an individual way that works for us. It's a saturated environment right now with Instagram and Facebook and Google and YouTube, everything. You can find information on anything you want to, but how do you compile that in a way that works for your life, right? Mm-hmm. If you're black, it's different, right? If you got kids, it's different. If you're female, it's different. We can't take the same thing and think it's going to apply across the board for everybody. So bringing that information and that perspective to people, I think helps them feel like they've got a grasp on this and they know where they can put their energy and effort to translate into actual results, even if it's baby steps. And seeing that is what keeps people really, really motivated. On top of the, coming to 6 a.m. session, I got to hype you up a little bit,
Absolutely.
So that's still very real, but it's the information that really carries over,
And that's our fundamental premise at Young Black in the Business. Our goal is to provide instructional, entrepreneurial, educational information. Mm-hmm. What educational, instructional health can you provide to us? The very first piece I already mentioned, right? This is long game. And I think the biggest pitfall in fitness is a 4-week program to losing weight, or it's 6-week or 8-week. It's been 15 years I've been in this industry. I've never seen anyone turn it around in 6 weeks. I haven't seen people turn around in 6 months, right? It takes a long game. This is like investing, right? You don't put your whole life savings in and think you're going to triple that in 6 weeks. It's not going to happen. You put a little bit in, you see a little bit of return. Then you reinvest in that, you see more return. You reinvest in that, you see more return. That's the first gold nugget I can drop on people is, I say, what's your time frame? 6 months. All right, let's talk about a year. Let's see what we can do in a year, right? If you want to get it done in 6 months, no alcohol, right? You have to go really, really hard on these principles that you don't even know yet, right? How do you know about your caloric deficit? How do you know about increasing your activity? How do you know about getting better protein intake? How do you know about eating clean? How do you know about your rest and recovery? We don't know anything about this. We're going to do it all in 6 weeks,
right?
So that's one. The second thing is I can't stress enough how much stress, rest, and recovery affect everything else, right? When you're stressed out, how's your nutrition going to go? Down, straight up. You're going to stop at McDonald's versus cooking that quinoa at home, right? Stress is going to wear you out. It really is. And we live in a higher stress life, especially at post-COVID. We're working from home now, getting family, kids, everything. We're so much more and more of us are career-driven. Stress is a killer, dude. And then our sleep is the only way. There's nothing on the planet that gets anywhere close to sleep. You can't drink enough coffee. You can't do enough meditation. You can do plenty, but nothing makes up for what sleep does for us. And if you're like, I'm working on 4 hours of sleep, 5 hours of sleep, you're eating yourself alive.
What do you recommend for a good amount of hours for sleep on, someone working or whatnot?
I think a lot of us can get away with 6 hours. Mm-hmm. Get away with 6 hours. But if you're trying to thrive, you're trying to live, you're trying to be at your best, most people need 7 to 8.
So 7 to 8.
Consistently.
Just like they say in the book.
Just like they say in the book. And it's a ballpark number. Some of us need 8 to 10, right?
Okay.
Especially if you're high stress, big family, kids, traveling a lot. If you're like athletes, for example, we know they need a lot more rest than the rest of us because of how they're putting strain on their body, right?
Okay.
So yeah, it's 6 to 8 is you got to get at least that in.
So does it have to be all at once? Could you do 6 and then do like a nap?
So there's a lot of power in naps, but what we're finding in research is there's a sweet spot. So if you're taking a 2-hour nap in the middle of the day, it can kind of disrupt that flow and that circadian rhythm. Yep. So the general rule of thumb is try not to nap more than an hour a day. Okay. So it's a power nap. Some people can nap for 20 minutes, wake up, and be like,
man, that's me.
Let's go.
Probably 15.
Really?
Yeah.
You take a 15-minute nap?
Yeah, I'm 15-minute nap. I feel like I could run through a brick wall after 15 minutes.
Man, after a 15-minute nap, man, I want to hit somebody. I wake up mad. I'm like, dude. Now I got to go back.
You got to go back to selling timeshares? No, I thought it was a dream.
My sleepy self trying to sell timeshares is a bad idea. No one's happy that way.
So your whole goal making this fitness work is to not sell timeshares?
No, that's it. And if I feel like I got to go back to timeshares, I'm starting to hustle.
That's motivation.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. It's funny, I started selling timeshares because I knew that I could make quick money there when my daughter was on the way.
Okay.
Right. So I was doing that. I was coaching 12, 15 classes a week at Title Boxing Club. I was doing Uber and Lyft at the same time and then still had one-on-one clients.
4 jobs. 5 jobs.
Well, you know, Uber, Lyft, the same thing. So, you know,
Sure.
4 jobs. But, yeah, dude, that life
tough.
runs out. I couldn't keep muscle on. I couldn't keep my mood up. Like, I think a lot of this stuff, and a lot of people realize this in quarantine, that when you take more time, when you lower your stress, when you don't have to go into work as much, you know, see those people that irritate you, or when you get more rest, more sleep, when you're spending more time in the sunlight, a lot of people are like, holy cow, man, I'm a whole different person.
Right.
Right? I think we get so used to this, like droning on with this routine of low sleep, high stress, low sleep, high stress, high expectations, that, you know, we kind of, this becomes the new us, stressed out, worn out version of us. And then we're trying to get into the gym on top of that. We're trying to layer keeping food under control on top of that. No coffee, no sugar, no booze. You're going to do all that and you're already worn out. That's hard.
I'm gonna tell you, I'll be candid with you. I'm a victim of that.
Is that right?
And especially as you know, running a small business, having an early family, a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old, and having a smoking hot wife. You know, being a homeowner. You know what? You know what can you recommend an individual like myself? You know, sometimes I do. You know, have a bad diet. I may eat around 7:30. Knowing I shouldn't be eating around 7:30. I may get a sweet tooth at 9:30. You know, I may do about 2,000 steps a day. You know, what type of guidance, what direction, what type of solution can you share with me to, you know, help jumpstart my life in the right direction?
One of my favorite tools for this, and I got this from our friend Jarvis, right, the Morning Hero, is to zero out your calendar. And really what this means is trying to get a step ahead of everything. Zeroing out your calendar, especially for, you got a lot on your plate, right? I got 1 daughter and no, you know, like, I know you got a lot. Zeroing out your calendar accounts for all the time. And then what you'll see when you do that from a visual standpoint is you'll see all the things that are taking from you. It's just your body and your energy are just like credit, right? You can stack it up. You can start paying interest. So whatever you stack up, whatever you spend, you need to reconcile as soon as you can so that interest can build up. When you zero out your calendar, you can see what things are taking, and then you can do, you can literally, you have to, I'm trying to figure out a way to really drive this home. You have to set time aside for yourself. And for me, that literally means putting it in my calendar. This is 1 hour for Josh's time. It's literally on my calendar every day at 8 p.m., 9 p.m., depending on what time I get off work. It is 1 hour. I don't have to check my phone if I don't want to. I don't have to talk to nobody if I don't want to. And you know, when my daughter's with me or if I have a partner, like I let them know, hey, this is Josh's hour. If I got to go for a walk, it's whatever. And the only thing I'm allowed to do in that hour is anything that brings me joy. Now, it's not do nothing. It's not my nap time. I plan a different time for that. It's not my catch up on chores. It's not my catch up on work time. It's not that. It's things that bring me joy. We forget how much that affects our psychology. Time to do something that I genuinely enjoy. If it's music, if it's going for a walk, if it's working out. Like, if you don't enjoy it, you shouldn't be doing it during that time. I zero out my calendar Saturday or Sunday with going into the week, and I know what my obligations are. By then, you know, my week is set. And I create that time. I try and make sure I get at least 3 to 4 hours of that a week in order to do that. And if I find myself still needing a little bit more than that, then I'll block off a weekend. This weekend I went out to Sedona and just camped. Like, I didn't have an agenda, just hung out. It's massively recharging, right? I had to do that. So making that as a priority and setting it up ahead of time, that way you kind of know where things are. And I know for a guy like you, probably get up early, right? Staying up late.
Oh well, I'm about 5:15 right now, and I go to bed after the 10 o'clock news, so about 10:20 or so.
Yeah, so I'm saying about try and be in bed by 10:30. I'm up 4:45, 5 o'clock.
Nice.
But again, I don't have to squeeze the same amount as you do in. So that's one, is zero out that calendar. I mean, if you have wifey at home, you know, partner that up, you know, and make sure, you know, obviously you got to make sure she's got that too.
That's right.
That's the best tool I probably could recommend for that.
Okay, yeah, because I know for our listeners, that may be relatable. You know, I'll crucify myself so someone can get some knowledge and turn it into currency.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And what I'm hearing, 2 things. One, you have to make this a lifestyle choice, not just something that you do. And, you know, we've probably all been there. Year starts, I got my resolutions. You start going to the gym. Week 2 goes by, and then all of a sudden somebody's like, hey, such and such going on this Friday. Yeah. And then you hang out that Friday and
it's done.
Over.
Yep.
Like all that momentum that you had gone. And then you got to start all over again. But what I've learned through you and just other people, don't beat yourself up about that. Like, hey, I fell off. Let's get back at it. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. And, you know, one foot in front of the other, let's get going again. So that's awesome.
I like that point you made about the weekend, because that's a pitfall for a lot of people, right? We do really well during the week because we have routine, we have structure, but then when we get to the weekend, especially you work hard, that pendulum's going to swing back the other way. Like, I'm going to play hard, right? You going to tell me I can't have a drink and some ribs on Saturday? I can't go to brunch? That's not realistic to say you have to be perfect 7 days a week. You have to give yourself space. The thing is the right amount of space. So we're all familiar with the 80-20 rule in like business, right? It's like 20% of what you're doing is responsible for 80% of your results. Same thing in fitness, right? So what I try to recommend my clients is 80% of the time you need to be compliant with your plan. Whatever that plan is. If it's really strict because you're trying to bodybuild, great. If it's just lifestyle because you're your mom, great. But you need to be compliant to that 80% of the time. So it's not 10 days a week, there's 7 days a week. So 80% compliance means 6.5 days on top of it. So half a day where you can kind of do whatever you want. And if you think about this as a ratio, if you're doing something well 6 days a week and then you take 1 day off, you got enough momentum that 1 day is not going to really hit you as hard. So you can live your life. You can still make progress forward. You're taking 6 steps forward and 1 step back. 6 steps forward, 1 step back, and you still make really good progress.
That's another thing too. So let's say you were working out for 90 days, consistently doing what you want to do. How long does it take for you, if you stop, to get out of shape?
That's going to be the scientific version is. It's going to vary from person to person. And the way I frame this is your metabolism, how well your body adjusts to input and output, right? Whether it's working out, nutrition, stress, whatever. How quickly your body adapts to that. I call that metabolic inertia. That's my term, it's not a science term. Metabolic inertia. Some of us can make a change, and in 3 days they start seeing their body change, right? Sure. Some of us, it takes 30 days of doing something before you finally get the ball going, high or low metabolic inertia. And then we have what's called a metabolic set point. So once you start to make that progress and you decide, okay, cool, this is where I like to be. You lost some weight, put some muscle on, you're looking good, you're feeling good. How long do you have to stay there for your body to be like, this is the new normal, so it doesn't go back to that? Now, that's highly influenced by your habits, right? So if you did all this work and then you suddenly switch back to McDonald's and beer every night, it's not going to stick, period. Sure. But once you get to that maintenance phase and you like that, metabolic set point and that inertia is some from people after a month staying like that, they can have some playroom, their body's going to want to come back to that. So for example, when I was selling timeshares, I weighed 176 pounds, right? It was really light. I'm 6'4". So it's quite scrawny. So my goal was to get over 200 pounds. And I did that off and on from a lifestyle standpoint, again, as a dad, as an entrepreneur, whatever else. It took me about 2 years, and I sit at like 210 now, right? So 2 years to put on 30 some odd pounds, not bad. I was able to do it slow and not put on too much fat, whatever else. And so now I'm at a spot where like I've stayed in maintenance long enough to where if I took like last week I was traveling, so I wasn't working out as much. My food was a little bit skewed, etc. I came back home, and for me it's about keeping weight on. I only lost 2 or 3 pounds, right? 1 week in the gym, right back where I'm supposed to be. Okay. So my body likes being at that 210 now, so it's ready to come back. So if I mess up or something comes off, I'm ready to come back. That's a long-winded answer to explain that, but I don't want anyone to get like the wrong impression about how quickly or how easy it is to stay on point.
Yeah, because you read stuff like some people believe if you take a week off, like it's over. Like all the momentum you built up, you lost it. So you have to make it a lifestyle. You have to make sure if you doing it 3 to 4 times a week or 5 times, or some people 7 every day. Like I'm sure you're every day guy, right? You work out every No. Okay,
you don't need to do that.
Okay, good. Because I don't.
Good.
But I do believe that the consistency and keeping at it is, even if it's only 20 minutes or like at one point when I hurt my foot, I would walk. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna walk a mile every day. Okay. And just to get outside and, like you said, to get the sunlight, and it helps you feel different. It helps you kind of start the day off just walking. And back in the day, I'd be like, this isn't anything, but nowadays, walking 3-4 miles, I feel that, like, for sure.
Our bodies are built to work, man. Yeah. They're not built to sit, right? Literally, your ass is not built to sit on. Sorry, am I allowed to swear?
It's over, so it's good.
Your body's not built to sit. Like, your butt is not, like, even physiologically, your butt is not built for you to sit on. Okay. Your feet and your hands are built in ways that allow you to hold and grip things and to stand and support your weight, your hips and everything as well. But sitting on your butt, it's not made to do that. So you notice if you ask anybody to sit still long enough, especially children, within 5 seconds, they're moving, fidgeting, twitching, something. The body wants to move. It has to stay in motion. Everything has to keep going. So even just a small thing like getting out for a walk around the block, body's like, yes, we like this, do more.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I would like to learn a little bit more about Josh the Trainer business side. You know, as in how are you able to keep your clients coming back to you fascinated? How are you able to develop your clients with growth and development? And what growth and development have you seen from your clients? Because we may have some entrepreneurs that want to get into the field and may want to learn lessons from you. How can you make our long journey a shortcut?
Number one is be authentic to the craft. If what you're doing is not a craft for you, and I don't mean just working out, because some of us like working out. What you're doing as a trainer is not working out. You're not just showing people how to work out. You're helping people understand what it means to integrate working out and fitness to change their life. It's a big pitfall for a lot of trainers. They're doing stuff that they either, one, that they've never done and don't understand, or they're trying to get someone else to do something that worked for them that doesn't work for that person. So that said is be authentic to the craft, like genuinely be concerned with, is this person getting what they need right now? You can't force someone to do something they're not ready. From like a financial and like a business development standpoint, again, it was a long time building. When I first started looking into it, I was working at Title Boxing Club. I used my personality and what I was doing at Title to start to build my clientele base. So I got a lot of practice interacting with people and figuring out what it is they want and how to tune what I do to them. When I was ready to go off and do my own thing, I was fortunate a few followed me. But what I did in the meantime is I used my Instagram, I used Facebook, whatever at the time, to try and put it out there. And unfortunately, I have some success with that. Even now I have some. But the vast majority of my client, like from day one, has been word of mouth. At least 90% of my clients have come from word of mouth. That's how all of you have heard of me. Everyone that works with me heard of me from someone else for the most part. And that's because my clients are learning something in that experience. Not only are they having a good time, but my brag is that my clients know more than most trainers, right? My clients will look at people in the gym, look at trainers in the gym, like, what the hell are they doing over there, man? That don't make no sense. Right. It's so stupid they're doing that. They don't understand why they don't know why they're not getting any growth, but they're doing this, that, and the other, blah, 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 blah. My clients have that knowledge up here. And when other people hear that, when they talk to other people about it, they're like, that's what I need. Someone told me go do squats. Someone told me do glute thrust. Someone told me get protein. Someone told me cut carbs. Somebody told me all that stuff. I didn't make it there. How do I get this? And so that word of mouth is how that happened. And again, if you're true to the craft, that just flows on its own. So I haven't really had to do any marketing. I haven't had to put really much of a cent into marketing in probably 5 years. I haven't had to think about it. I do quite well. I've had a full roster and a wait list. What I did to kind of practice the interaction between the clients. Everybody hates that talk with the trainer, right? All right, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put together a plan. You're gonna eat a bunch of protein. You're gonna have you 6 chickens a day with 26 spears of asparagus. You're gonna have no sugar, no alcohol. All your friends are gonna hate you. You're gonna be a terrible person for 6 weeks. No one likes that conversation. Right?
Sounds fascinating.
Right. No, so I would practice on my mom and sister. I literally asked them, hey, can you just call me randomly throughout the week? Once or twice, nothing crazy, and literally just ask me questions about fitness. Let me run through my script. Because I want to have a conversation, just like we are now. I don't want to sell you anything.
Right.
So I haven't had to sell anything in 4 or 5 years. So my mom and sister would do that, and it was funny because it actually turned into real conversations. My mom would literally ask me, okay, what about this? And she's like, oh, really, for real? All right, what about that? And we would talk for like an hour, this is my mom. But it gave me a perspective of what people are really looking for. And people really are trying to find answers. They're really trying to thoroughly understand this thing for themselves, especially at our age. And we're all black dads, dude. We're trying to figure it out. We don't want dad bods. That's gone. That's not for us. That's not for us, dude. We don't want that. We don't want to sacrifice our bodies in order to be the rock for our families that we want to be, right? So it's the understanding, it's the knowledge, and that's what's brought me all the success. Maybe you're hoping for a more complex or intentional answer, but really that's what this has been for me. Me just doing my thing, helping people out, and it's worked because people like it and they tell the people about it.
Yeah, that was right on because in business we believe that we identify a problem, we provide a solution, and we make a profit. Mm-hmm. So that was right on time. Thank you for that.
Oh, for sure.
And what I love about Josh is you can tell his passion. You know that he really enjoys what he's doing, and he knows what he's talking about, which makes it a lot better because I've had trainers before, and I'm like, I could have did this or looked on YouTube and did this, and it's not like that with him. You know, being an athlete and working out, anytime I've worked with him, he's told me stuff, and I've done it, and it's worked. During pandemic, everything was shut down. He was doing Instagram training. I had went to the doctor. I had high cholesterol, first time in my life, and they were trying to give me pills. And I was like, oh, no. If anyone knows me, I don't really drink, very rare. I don't take medicines. I'm like, I'll drink water. Like, I may have a soda every once in a while, but water, juice, I'm not really messing around with any pills or medicines. So the doctor was like, yeah, we're going to give you this heart medicine. It was like, nah, we're not going to do that. And he's like, what do you mean? I was like, well, we'll run the test again. It's like, give me 90 days, and I'm going to change my habits, and let's just see what happens. So then it turned out the pandemic happened. Like, shortly after that, I was kind of working out by myself, but then he went on Instagram, and he would do workouts with us on Instagram, and we'd use books in the house or a chair, table, and doing his workouts, I ended up losing, like, I think it was over 20 pounds, and all my tests came back, and the doctor looked at me. He's like, what did you do? I was like, I was working out with my friend's a trainer. I just did his workout, changed my diets, you know, had better food habits, and, you know, everything was fine. I haven't had any type of cholesterol issue since or any of that. So I appreciate you for that, my brother.
My pleasure, man. Those that I forgot that whole thing happened. That was a grind. That was hard. It was hard adjusting to the pandemic, and I was fortunate. I did it. I didn't have to get any help or, you know, loans or nothing crazy. So I'm fortunate for that. But what's real big is I'm not a big social media guy. For my choice, I won't be on it. But when I do it, it's powerful to know that it lands. You know,
sure.
That's a big deal for me. I don't trust this getting through. There's so much out there.
Sure.
So to know that it's landing and that, you know, it's able to help you and hopefully other people, that's big, man. I'm real happy to hear that.
There's nowhere to go. He's like, I'm gonna do this, and man, he was outside by himself by the stadium stairs by the convention center. And he set up his phone, do the workout, and anytime he'd give me a notification, I hop on, do the workout with him, whatever I was doing, because you just stuck in the house anyways. But yeah, I ended up growing all this hair, everything, because normally I had the waves and stuff back at that time. But yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, brother, you helped his brother Hart, man. You know what I mean? That's yeah, man, you saving lives, and that's really what health is. Our next issue, actually, for our manuscript is going to be health is wealth and movement is medicine. So we definitely may want to pick your brain on some of your, you know, some of your tools of success to be sustainable in the health field. And I believe that's where some folks fall short at. I really liked your analogy on your return on investment. You know, how long are you in it for? And just not just a quick pick, but the long-term goal. I appreciate that.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
No, we talked about it. You think about how much you're indoors and how much you don't get fresh air. So walking, running, any of that stuff helps you. It helps your mind. It helps clear up because you have filters inside these buildings, inside your car. So all that stuff's important. We talked about this stuff before, so absolutely something we got to do.
We got to go to the next level.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now that these masks are off and we can actually breathe properly and make logic decisions, you know, we got to get on our health tips. So we appreciate that, brother. In the last few moments, where can we find you at? Can you please, or your handles, or how can we reach you? I know individuals that may be inspired, how can we get more knowledge from you?
There's two main platforms you can find me on. One is Instagram. They're both on Instagram, but my handle on Instagram is Josh_the trainer. Pretty straightforward. The other place I'm big and have a presence is Exponential Plus. If you've heard of brands like Y6 and Row House, things like that, like Club Pilates, Cycle Bar, all those things, Stretch Lab, they're all owned by Exponential. So we're developing our own like digital program too. So similar to like Peloton, we're sort of in a beta type thing. So I was fortunate to be pulled in on that, and it's a great experience, and it's a great opportunity if you're trying to continue to do things like what I did on Instagram. That's an avenue where we can do that. It's very, very affordable, and I feel like it's I feel like we're doing a great job being able to reach people and help them find ways to keep moving in 20, 30 minutes, no problem. So between those two, it's Exponential Plus and then Josh_the trainer, both on Instagram.
Awesome.
And in conclusion, what's one breath you can give us to get somebody up off their gluteus maximus and to get movement? What's with one breath?
Average or athlete.
Yep. There you go. I like it.
Make a choice. You want to be regular like everybody else, or you want to be your best self.
Beautiful. Well, we want to thank you for joining us.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate you coming. Not only a good friend of mine, but I want to showcase your talents to the world, and that's why I made this show.
My pleasure, man. I really appreciate you guys having me out. You know I love talking. So this is great. I was like, I'm down. Let's do it.
Awesome. Well, that concludes our episode. Thanks again for joining us. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you at the next episode.
Click that like button and share. Comment. Thank you.